All right, boys. So we're back at it. I'm honestly really fucking tired recording this video right now. I didn't even want to record. Just came back from my first ever solo trip. Did a little bit of traveling to Porto in Portugal. But I had a really cool insight that I specifically came up with while on this trip that I had to share with you because I'm good like that. Just to fill you guys in on this trip to give you a little bit of context because I talked about this in the weeks leading up to it. I wanted to do this as a way of continuing to get out of my comfort zone because I spend a lot of time just kind of learning about different techniques for being more social, ways of feeling more confident and like just being like more naturally charismatic because I'm a really introverted guy and none of this does come naturally to me. This is all part of the journey that I've been on. But none of this learning really means anything if you don't take the opportunity to apply it. And I thought, let me just throw myself in at the deep end. I've never been away on my own before. I went to stay in a hostel. I'm completely reliant on myself. I don't have any safety net. I'm totally on my own in this new place. Let's just see how I get on. Let's see if I can make some new friends and just have some fun. And I'm happy to say that it actually went extremely well. Made so many new friends from all these different countries: Mexico, Spain, Italy, America, Australia, so many different places. Met so many cool people and just had an absolute blast in this city. Went to so many parties, and I'll tell you guys all the crazy stories in the coming weeks. But the single most important reason I think this trip went so well, and I was able to just be my natural, authentic self, to be almost extroverted, even though I'm coming from this introverted place, even though I am this kind of shy, overthinking person. The reason I think this went well is down to the fact that I'm in a completely new area where no one knows me. There's absolutely zero history with any of the people that I met. And that could be a bad thing. Like I said, there's no safety net. There's no assurance that I am actually going to meet anyone. But at the same time, that is so extremely liberating, not having all of these social expectations placed upon me. I was not always a confident and outgoing person like I am now. I'm at a high point in terms of my confidence. But 5 years ago at 18, I wouldn't even fucking leave my room. I was so fucking shy and reserved, would overthink every single little detail in all my conversations, just had absolutely no social life. My life was just a fucking mess and I hated it. And a lot of that kind of came from my time in school, being a very unpopular guy, being the absolute bottom of the barrel in all of my friendship groups, the guy who everyone just used to take turns rinsing and making jokes at my expense, and just kind of feeling like everyone hated me. Low key, like it's kind of sad, but I had this perception that everyone hated me. And people when you're teenagers, they are fucking mean. But even later on, as people started to grow up and they became nicer and more mature, like by the time I left school, people actually were nice to me. But it was still just these crushing perceptions that I believe people had of me. Like all of this history that was there that made me think that they still see me as this certain type of person. Like everyone still remembers when I was 14 and the teacher humiliated me and I almost cried in front of the class. Like that kind of thing, like all this obscure shit from the past that kind of feels like it's stopping you from evolving and being seen as like a more confident, even like a popular kind of person. When you go around thinking that everyone hates you, even if that's not necessarily the case, imagine what that does to your day-to-day behavior. Like the way you conduct yourself, not taking as many risks in your social life, not trying to make new friends, tolerating bad behavior and like sticking with friend groups who aren't treating you with respect just because you feel like you don't have any other option, or physically taking up less space in your environment because you don't think you even like deserve to be in the presence of other people. Getting kind of deep with this now, but these are all things that I've experienced. It fundamentally changes your behavior as a person, and all of that is down to just this belief that everyone sees you in a certain type of way. So every instance in life where I've then taken myself out of that particular environment, like when I left school and went to university, or even like starting a new job, it's always been so liberating to me that it's just a complete clean slate. There's no history there. No one knows me. No one has any kind of expectations of me. It sounds corny, but I can just be whoever the fuck I want to be. I get to choose what information to give people about my past, what information to withhold. I can almost I can almost shape how people see me to some extent. You're not always going to be able to control how people see you, but they don't have to know about all my embarrassing moments from 10 years ago. I get to choose what kind of impression I make on these people. And especially when it comes to things like traveling, where it's inherently for a short period of time, where I know that eventually I am going to move on. It's just this knowledge that if worse comes to worse, if I say something dumb or if I do something to make a fool out of myself, I know that at the end of the day, I can just leave. After a certain point, I'm never gonna see these people again in my life. This trip that I just took, it was 5 days, so that knowledge was always with me in my mind. I knew that if I embarrass myself, it does not even matter in the grand scheme of things. I'm away from home. It's not going to stick in people's memory. They don't care. These people do not give a fuck. Or it allows me to not give a fuck because I know that I'm going to leave. This video is absolutely all over the place, and that kind of reflects my state of mind at the moment. I just want to go to sleep right now. But what does this look like in practice? So I think how you can practice this, some actionable steps for you. First of all, wherever I go in the world, it doesn't matter where I am, I like to make small talk to the people around me. I like to have low stakes conversations with, people in my day-to-day life. When I go and buy something from the shop, when I'm waiting for the bus, I like to just strike up little conversations with the people around me because, again, it's a similar effect. I know that I'm probably never going to see these people again if something goes wrong. So it's a very good way to kind of practice. At the same time, if that is too much pressure for you, if you want to strip another layer of pressure away from it, then go and practice things like these in places that are far away from home. Exhibit A for me is when I was learning cold approach, when I was moving to girls on the street, trying to get numbers, trying to get Instagrams. I would always practice in London, it's a good hour away from where I live, purely because I knew that this is going to be harder for me if I approach a girl and she rejects me and she ends up being my fucking neighbor or something, or end up seeing her on the street like every other week. That's going to suck for me, and that's going to make me not want to continue doing cold approach. So just the whole idea of doing it somewhere where I know I'm not going to be recognized, in a city with 6 million people, where the odds are that I'm never going to see this person again, is going to make it so much easier for me to perform better and like build up slowly and develop this into a habit of being a confident person. I made an amazing video last week on how to just strike up little conversations and make friends just by living your life, just by going about your day. So I highly recommend you go and watch that if you want some more like practical advice on this. And also, if you have the money or time, I'd really recommend just doing a few little trips like I've just done sporadically throughout the year. Try and stay in a place like a hostel where there are people there who are open to making new friends and kind of going and doing shared activities together. Because I think when you're traveling, the best part is that no one is closed off. There's a lot of people going solo, so like the pressure is on them to make something happen. So what I found is it's like the bar to make friends is a lot lower. People actually want to socialize and kind of get to know other people and mingle. It's so much easier. And I think for those reasons, travel is amazing for restoring confidence and faith in your own ability to be social and have conversations, especially if you're someone like me who is naturally introverted, who does have to work a bit harder than his extroverted friends to make things happen. And all of this is just a lot of free positive reinforcement that stays with you even after you come back from traveling. Like I've been going about my day just whilst I'm back in my hometown with so much more of like a positive, optimistic attitude. Been talking to everyone around me and just like I just feel very uplifted because I took the time out of my year to go to this place and have this fun social experience. Anyways, my camera is close to dying right now. I'm super tired. I'm probably just gonna go to bed. It's 6 o'clock right now. That tells you all you need to know. Sorry, this video is a little bit unscripted, but yeah, those are some things for you to practice, and just it's honestly something that I can't even really put into words how I felt. I just felt powerful. I felt like I can fucking be whoever I want in this place and make whatever kind of impression that I want without kind of having all of these expectations that would usually be on me. It was a really powerful thing. I felt like a fucking god. But I'm going to tell you guys all about this trip, all the crazy stories that happened whilst I was there. Most of them involving the nightlife. But yeah, I'll see you guys later. Thanks for watching, bro. Take care, and I'll see you in the next one.